You know, I keep hearing about the new GM. I have to admit, I really didn't like the old GM much, but I certainly like the new one even less. You know, I'm sick and tired of hearing at the bargaining table in our conversations that our members that are laid off really had less than a year, some had a little more than a year, as if somehow that really matters. As if somehow the hundreds of our members that are laid off don't have families, don't have mortgages, don't have kids, don't have responsibilities. It's as if our members never quit jobs to come to work for CAMI, and to somehow view them somehow as collateral damage in a quest for profits doesn't sit very well with any of us sitting up here today. So when I listen to Mike, and I listen to Dan, and I listen to the input from the incredible bargaining committee you have working so hard on your behalf, you need to know that we will last one day longer than General Motors. Think of where we were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we're the sole producer of the Terrain. We're the sole producer of the Equinox. You work 6 days a week for 8 years, made the companies billions and billions and billions of profits. And what do we get? Lack of respect. Members on layoff. And we're in a dispute that nobody wants to be in. But to be candid with your brothers and sisters, we have no choice. Because we have two options. We can fight or we can fold. And I can tell you, option 2 is never going to happen. Now, we've spent a lot of time talking about job security. And it's crystal clear today, even more than it was 2 weeks ago, why it will be the defining moment. Because GM will candidly say to us, yes, we have an incredible plant here. Yes, it was such an incredible plant that we invested $800 million. Yes, they build the best quality. Yes, they're the most productive. But when we say to them, we need to make sure that in case of a downturn in the economy, which there inevitably may be, we got to make sure that we're not losing volume to Mexico. Because ultimately, the reason that they won't sign the letter giving us the primary supplier, locking in the shifts, is because they fully intend, in my opinion, that if the market starts to dip, they're going to eliminate $35 an hour jobs and keep $2 an hour jobs in San Luis Potosí. So you need to know that's not going to happen. Because what you already understand is that this just isn't a fight for us, the uniform members, Local 88. This isn't just a fight that you're staging on behalf of Unifor. When I take a look around the crowd and I see the kids, and I talk to spouses of our members that are on the picket line, and I'm reading and I'm listening to the input from the community, the small shops, the store owners, the restaurant owners. This is really a fight about our community and the long-term survival of our community. You know, this fight is playing out on an international scale. This fight is playing out in the United States. This fight is playing out in Canada from coast to coast to coast. But there's also an understanding of this strike in Mexico. Because right now we are in the process of renegotiating the free trade agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and I think you all know that. And what we've been saying publicly in Canada and the United States is that this fight, this strike, is the poster child for what is wrong with NAFTA. So what is it all about? We've lost 500,000 manufacturing jobs in 23 years. And so when I hear the corporate community, when I hear the business community, when I hear the 1% saying that NAFTA's been good for Canada, for who in Canada? It sucked for workers in Canada. It sucked for workers in the United States. And the workers that got our work in Mexico, it sucked for them as well because they don't even make enough money to buy the cars they're building. So we've all gotten screwed and we're all in this together. So sisters and brothers, it's clear. And we are pushing the governments. And we are pushing our government, we're pushing the U.S. government Let me share with you meetings I had last week in Ottawa as a part of the Canadian team renegotiating NAFTA. The ambassador from Mexico to Canada wanted to meet with me. The Labor Committee for Mexico that's bargaining with Canada, the United States, wanted to meet. And their argument was, look, Jerry, chill out a little bit. We hear what you are all saying publicly, but we're taking care of things ourselves in Mexico. We're putting together some progressive reform. Wages will start to elevate over time. And I said to them, look, the advantage of being short is I never bang my head. I mean, for 23 years they've been saying this, and for 23 years they've been hoodwinking all of us. Those days are over. There is no way that there will be a free trade deal signed unless we fix the Mexican problem. And the Mexican problem is where our jobs are going. And this fight is about changing the politics of the country. This fight is about letting General Motors know, yes, they are tough, but we are one hell of a tough group ourselves, and we're not going anywhere. So, sisters and brothers, there's no such thing as simple solutions to complicated problems. We're dealing with General Motors. General Motors aren't term school graduates, but neither are we. So we realize that this is going to be a fight that's going to define our long-term security. Because we can sign a deal. We can get back to work tomorrow. But the problem becomes what happens next week, next year. So this is really about the longevity. This is about respect. And I always want you to remember one thing. Everything we're asking for, you've earned. So I want to thank Dan. I want to thank your bargaining committee. I want to thank Mike. More importantly, I want to thank you. We can't do this without you. If you're weak, General Motors will know you're weak. If we're weak, then General Motors will know we're weak. But when we are collectively strong, they understand we're not going anywhere until we get this thing done. Stick together, solidarity. Let's make sure that we get the deal that we've earned. Thank you very much, sisters and brothers.